Hello, this is a disembodied voice, and I'm just here to let you know that it'll be about 10 minutes, and then we will begin the game straight away. It is called The Quiet Year, and it is a card-based world building game. So, in about 10 minutes, we'll be we'll be giving it a go. I've got two other players that'll be joining me. So, see you then.
Anyway, let's leave the realm of D&D to silly plays.
Yeah, please, let's never go back.
Okay, we can instead play the Quiet Year.
Which is all like saying we can still play the quiet game.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Evie.
It's all good. Oops, I did not open my copy of the rules. I'm not ready actually. Oh crap. Hang on just a second.
Are we streaming this?
Yeah, it's up.
Okay.
It's going. So,
Right? Fair enough.
the so the game, the idea behind the game is that we're going to build a community together, and we've got this deck of cards that's going to sort of help us um, with different events uh, and like moments in the community, so that we can kind of make something. I worked pretty. I think I managed to get all of the things that would be supplies set up in Roll20. Um, so at the top here, there's some colored boxes. Um, what colors do you guys want? Those are going to be your boxes where you put your little contempt tokens. So what colors do you two want?
Dibs on red.
Blue.
Uh, You said green?
I said blue.
Yeah,
No one
blue.
said green.
I'm
What?
green. Okay. All right, I'm green, red, and then blue. Okay. Um, so to start the game, we started by reading this paragraph here, and I will go ahead and read that aloud because that's what you're supposed to do. It says, "For a long time, we were at war with the jackals. Now, finally, we've driven them off, and we're left with this, a year of relative peace. One quiet year with which to build our community up and learn again how to work together. Come winter, the frost shepherds will arrive, and we might not survive the encounter. This is when the game will end, but we don't know about that yet. What we know is that right now, in this moment, there is an opportunity to build something." And so that is the premise of the Quiet Year. Um, for playing the game, there are a couple of things. I gotta move these over, sorry. So we've got this big blank canvas here. We're gonna be drawing on it. You'll be using the freehand tool. Everybody will be able to, or the shapes drawing tool. Everybody will be able to draw stuff. You can draw whatever you want. Um, I made the canvas really really big in the hopes that we will not end up kind of squishing ourselves into a corner, because I've seen that happen in one of the other games that I watched be played. They kind of squished themselves into a corner, so this is my attempt to avoid that. Um, with that, we do have a couple of things written on here right now, which is abundance, scarcity, and names. Those are things that we will be addressing in the game. But the idea is that everything is visually represented that we put down into this community and into the world around the community. We want to avoid writing down names and stuff. If it's a church, you want to try and draw like a building with a cross on the top, or something. If you've brought peace to the area in some way, you can put a peace sign in. Symbology is encouraged, but you don't want to actually write out words.
Okay.
And so each person will be able to draw their own separate things. Um, Here are a set of what are called project dice. Let me move those down. So it's off to the right. You should see there's three sets of dice, red, blue, green. Um, I color coded them just to start with. There doesn't mean that you can't use somebody's of another color, but I just figured it would be easiest to start off with. Um, they're token, so you should be able to right click on it, like click it and then right click, and it should let you choose a side, choose a number. Um, when we do our projects, the projects can take up to 6 weeks. And then after each turn, the projects are going to count down to completion. Um, and the reason I color coded them to start off knowing whose was whose is because when it's completed, even if it's on someone else's turn, you say your own project. You describe it, unless otherwise specified by a card. So it's important to remember whose project is which.
Okay.
Now, here I'm going to. Oh, Kitty, please. Um, between our little spaces and the dice are a bunch of what are called contempt tokens. The contempt tokens represent any tension and frustration that may arise if you are upset by somebody's actions, if you are disappointed or frustrated by anything that occurs, you can take a contempt token. This is because when it is not your turn, you are not allowed to talk. This is how you express that you are upset about something. Okay, you guys don't have ownership of the tokens? You can't move
I
them?
do not. I do not. I cannot do anything with them.
Okay.
Nope.
All right, let me see if I can figure out how to grant ownership. Sorry, I thought I had this all figured out. Advance. Oh man, I think I have to do this, don't I? Yeah, controlled by all players. All right, well, I'm going to go through and I'm going to have to do those apparently one at a time. But those are the contempt tokens. That's the idea behind that. It's a way to visually be able to represent that you didn't like what was happening, but you can't interfere in any way, so you take the contempt token instead. There
Okay.
are a couple of cards here. We've got this card, which is going to be the card that we go through to start off our play. You can see we got the deck, which I've set off to the side here, the terrain, which we're going to set up, and some resources, which are the 3 words that I do have written up there. There then is going to be another card that'll just walk us through what each of the actions will entail each week. So each card drawn is a single week. The player draws the card and they do whatever the card says. We reduce all the projects by 1, that's the dice. And then the player whose turn it is takes an action. And you take one of these 3 actions, which is to discover something, hold a discussion, or start a project. And you can see that by discovering something, you're introducing some sort of a new situation or a new problem onto the map. Okay, thanks for letting me know that the dice also are not movable. So you can discover something new. It can be good or bad. There's no limitations on that. You can hold a discussion, which is how you can potentially resolve people who have contempt in the community. You can decide to talk about something before taking actions on it. This is the only way that we as players are allowed to actually tell each other how we feel about things. Like the basis of the game is that it's hard to communicate as a community. And so when somebody else is doing something you don't like, you might have to use your turn to hold a discussion. A lot of the times discussions don't necessarily end in a real resolution, and that's just kind of the way they go. But it does give everybody a chance to voice their opinions and perhaps work something out. And then the last bit is to start a project. And you can start a project. When you do so, you want to take into account, what kind of resources are around, how difficult this would be to accomplish, and then you pick a number of weeks from 1 to 6. And then we're going to set that on the dice. You want to make sure that you remember what project is with what dice. I'd say this would be a point where I would say putting a single word by the dice is okay, it's doable, because sometimes you can't just draw out what it is that your project is if it's a very sort of intellectual thing. So,
Also, it's really hard to draw on the mouse.
well, yeah, but that's something we're just going to have to sort of contend with. based on the fact that we're not using real pen and paper. Um, so, does anybody have questions so far?
No,
I mean,
seems really
this
straightforward.
sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So first thing we do is prepare the deck. I put these decks together. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure they're all shuffled because I had been playing with them before. Um, the way that we're going to be able to use the decks is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. When you mouse over it, a little bit pops up. Just kind of grab a hold of that and drag it over, and then it's there and it's on the board, um, and you can see it. Um, can each of you go ahead and just grab a card so that I make sure that you guys do have the ability to do that?
Okay.
All right. So you each clicked it. Cool. Yes. All right. Can you not move your card? You can.
I can, but then I drew on it. I don't know how that works.
That's a little weird. Okay.
I'm
All
good.
right. Cool. I'm gonna take your card away.
Okay. That's sad.
It's my card now. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have to go in and fix something there too. So, um, to discard it, you just delete it, and when the card is up, you're gonna read through it, and then it usually has you do this thing or you do that thing. Decide which thing you want to do, detail it out, explain it out, and then draw it on the map. Hey.
Okay, just testing the interface. Sorry about that.
Mhm. I will reshuffle that deck so that we get those cards. Speaking of, I went through and I shortened this. So I did the suggested removal of 4 cards from each season. So that shortens our months by about a week. Or seasons by about a month. Sorry. Wow. Okay. This shortens our seasons by about a month.
What is time?
It makes each month a week shorter. I was really trying to say all those things in the same sentence and it didn't work at first. But that should give us, I believe, we're each going to get 3 rounds per season. All right, so that's the deck. We'll be starting with the spring deck, which is the one on top. Next, though, we need to sketch the terrain. This is where we're going to just collaborate really quick. We're going to discuss the area where we're going to set the game at. And then each player is going to introduce one detail about the area and draw that on the map. So we'll start blue first. So that's you, ACAT.
Okay, well, step 1 on Earth.
You think so?
I wasn't really sure about that actually.
I know. I wasn't either.
You were so excited about the idea of maybe a space thing, and I kind of like that idea. I mean,
So
this can be anywhere.
can I make a suggestion here?
Go for it. That's what this
So
is.
For reasons that I am not ready to reveal yet, I've been thinking about creating one universe for this little Discord channel we're in. That like every game doesn't have to take place in, but it's cool if it does.
Mm.
And by having like different planets that are habitable, I think that makes that a lot easier. So I would like to make a suggestion that we create the planet Amar. Amar is spelled Amarr, and it's very Earth-like, but it's not quite Earth.
Okay.
And this takes place in one specific part of one specific continent on the planet Amar. Hey, Kat, are you cool with that?
Sure, go with it.
Okay, great.
And let's just for community, since all of this is very very dependent on terrain and stuff. I kind of like the idea of this being like a kind of middle of nowhere, like wide open skies.
Yeah, totally into that.
So in a prairie kind of idea?
Yeah, like a prairie.
Okay. Do we have a water source nearby? Do we think?
I don't know. Prairie, like maybe like there's, I don't know about a river, but like channels. Like there was farmland and it's now kind of ruined, but there's like channels and irrigation and stuff.
Okay, old irrigation that may be sitting around.
Something like that. But like,
So,
yeah, but
so
like,
this is not the
fairly.
first time this planet is being settled, is what we're deciding,
Yeah, no,
right?
this is post-apocalyptic, right?
Well, I mean, it could be that we ran away from the jackals and settled on this brand new planet, right? I mean, there's any way that you can decide to set that up.
Okay, but yeah, this is post-apocalyptic. You know, there's channels there, but it's basically wide open prairie.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Um, so if we've kind of agreed that we're going to put this on, what was the name of the place? Amar?
Amar,
Amar?
Amar.
If we agree that we're going to put it on Amar in a big prairie, why don't we go around and each person create a single detail about this area
On it.
on the map?
Yes.
Are,
Doing it
is
now.
That
that you? Are you the one drawing the
Yes,
prairie right
that
now?
is
Okay.
that is me. So I'm just gonna
okay?
cut this off here, and now it's one thing.
So that's the size of our thing.
So this is like a landmass of which our prairie is going to be a part, and I'm going to fill this in.
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
Before we continue, let's talk about scale here for a second.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is like a subcontinent that I'm drawing.
Yeah, I think that maybe is way too big.
You could be right. Okay, so maybe I can like
Maybe this is the prairie itself, and at the edges of the prairie are things that we will discuss in game, whether they're mountains, forests, swamps, whatever. But this is the prairie itself. How does that work?
I can erase some of this.
I was thinking just like the whole the way I understood it was that the whole map would be kind of this area. But sure, again, this is all blank canvas for a reason.
Yeah, but like the whole map, that's too
Uh,
big for a whole map.
Yeah, we're not gonna start by saying the entire thing is our prairie, because we're
Right.
gonna be building like extra stuff on there. So I liked the idea of that being the prairie because then we have space to build. Okay, well, we went out and we explored this area outside of our prairie, and we found these artifacts and things and whatever else that
okay,
is.
I see
So
I see where you're going with that.
what are the boundaries of our territory?
I would say the prairie. That if we want to go
Yeah,
ahead and
Yeah,
set
but
it up in
like
a prairie, then it's a prairie. And then as the game progresses, we get to detail what those other terrain are that is enclosing our prairie. But we don't
God, it looks
decide
too
that at
much
this
like
point.
boobs. Ugh.
We don't decide that at this point unless a player wants to make that the thing that they sketch onto the terrain. Because
So,
everybody introduces a detail about the area.
this is a good question. What defines a prairie?
It's usually a grassland. It might have some um, like hills and elevation changes and stuff, but it's mostly kind of flat. It
So it's
doesn't really
basically the
have a
Great
lot of stuff.
Plains is
Yeah.
a prairie. So I think we need to maybe define where our water comes from first. Maybe that's a good start.
Well, is that what you want to put in for your contribution to the map?
I'm probably going to change it like 3 or 4 times, but yeah, let's go with that for now. Um, so
Why don't you go ahead and draw that prairie area again? I liked that. Because we
now I
need
got
to
to find
have a
that color.
general idea of like, this is the region that we're working in right now.
Yeah, I mean the problem is like a prairie is very loosely defined, right? So I think maybe there's like kind of a forest that starts in this general direction.
Maybe. We can find that out when we get to that, or unless you want to use that as the thing that you're contributing to the map.
And then
But
there's a mountain
you can't
that I'm going to
contribute two
put.
things inside.
I'm contributing the boundaries of our prairie.
Does that count as one? It's one detail.
It's cool. I'll just do the forest, and someone else can go.
Okay, you're doing the forest. I'm going to do the railroad.
You're
The
doing a
railroad.
railroad. Okay.
So it's really interesting that humanity would colonize another planet and build a railroad.
I mean,
Yep. Yes. Exactly.
Okay. Okay. So we'll have to figure out why that railroad exists.
I
can we?
want
Okay.
to.
In starting out, we are a settlement of about 60 to 80 people. Can somebody just put in yellow where our town region is at least?
That can be your contribution.
No, that's the starting out. We would
Oh,
be
okay.
a town. Um, here. That's our town.
Okay, cool.
For now.
How big is this?
About 60 to 80 people.
So in terms of like kilometers.
How big do you want it to be?
Um,
Do you want this to
60
be
to 80
a
people.
prairie that's kind of nestled into a small space, or do you want this to be like the Great Plains in America where it's fucking wide as hell?
So here's what I'm thinking, right? Is that like if you got 60 to 80 people, that
Mm,
could be 60 to 80 people with their own 12 acres of farmland, or it could be 60 to 80 people that all live inside of a high school.
we're gonna figure that out.
Right. So that's a good question. So I see a black line being drawn.
I think that's ACAT's railroad. Yeah.
I don't hear any singing, a cat.
I've been working on the
There we go.
railroad.
I am
Come
going to
On roll
contribute.
20.
I'm going to contribute a river
Okay. That's a crossbow.
that
Keep trying.
that we have created our settlement in the branch of. So
Okay.
there's this
No,
big
if we're in
river.
a prairie, there's not a river.
There can be it's not a big river. Oh, it's a stream. How about a stream?
It's like
Okay.
a little brook.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which kind of suggests that this yellow thing is not very big.
Right.
Okay.
I'm saying this part's probably the big river portion where like maybe a couple of other streams feed into it. Um, but then like these are our streams. These two bits are our streams
Okay.
that we have kind of established ourselves around because we need water.
So I'm gonna wait for ACAT to go, and then do we do another round of this?
No.
Oh man.
Because we're going to work it as we play. You really want to just get into all the details. It's great.
I have so many ideas.
Yeah.
Like over here, this is the contaminated zone. You don't go in there.
You love contaminated zones.
I don't. I was trying to get rid of them. You wanted to keep them.
Okay. ACAT, you can like contribute and draw at the same time. So we're going to move on to the starting resources. And each player is going to declare an important resource for the community. We're going to then collectively
Blood.
decide which one. Did you just say blood?
Shh. Continue.
We're going to then collectively decide which one of the resources is in abundance, and then the rest are all scarcities. So in our case, we're going to have a total of 3 things that get declared as important resources, one of which will be in abundance, 2 of which will be a scarcity. And we are going to write them up here in our little abundance and scarcity lines. They will change as the game progresses, so we will have to keep track of that. But Insight, do you want to give me one important resource? And you cannot decide yet if it is an abundance or a scarcity, but you can say this is a resource that will be important for the community in one way or another.
I don't know, Evie. You're putting a lot of power into my hands.
You get to pick one though.
I think rocket fuel is a resource.
Rocket fuel.
Specifically, I think it's hydrogen. It's liquid hydrogen that is an important resource.
All right, liquid hydrogen. If I can spell. What about you, ACAT? Do you have an idea?
Yes, and I think it's going to be. I was going to say anti-radiation pills, but that's another technological resource. So let me think about that for a second.
I was going that direction too, though.
I kind of figured that out. I'm gonna say actually lumber.
Lumber. Okay, and I am going to contribute. I'm going to say, like
Vespine gas. You require more of it.
I do, but that's not what I'm going to contribute. I'm going to say, okay, so how do I say this? Large animals, like
Livestock is the word you're looking for.
no, because it's not just domesticated. I'm saying in general, this planet does not have large animals.
We do not have enough bears in this settlement.
We don't have bears, we don't have deer, we don't have anything over the size of like a dog.
Macrofauna?
There you go. Thank you. Macrofauna.
Macrofauna. Someone's been playing Eclipse Phase.
Love it.
So that's megafauna is the really big ones.
We're
just
not going
macro.
super big. We're going macro. Okay. And so, there's 2 liquid hydrogens on here. Let me delete my.
One of them is spelled correctly. Yes.
Now we get to decide which one is the abundance.
I actually think we have way too many animals.
Yeah. There's just a ton of fucking bears here.
Oh, that's right, because I was trying to. I broke my own rules of
you
the
broke-
game.
Yeah, I heard you do that, and I was like, nope.
Thanks for that. All right.
I mean, we could just say
Cool.
there's way too much liquid hydrogen, and this game could get really
Oh
exciting.
God, yeah, that would be really scary, really fast.
Today there's a railroad, tomorrow who knows?
It's a railroad to outer space. We end up off the planet before the season's over.
Before the rocket does.
Yeah. So macrofauna is going to be our abundance. Yes?
Yep.
Hey, that liquid hydrogen was in the wrong spot.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right. And so then we have a scarcity of liquid hydrogen, which of course we're going to have a scarcity of liquid hydrogen. And we have a scarcity of lumber, which is really funny because we have a forest right next door. So I guess it's going to be something about like the trees are really sapling-like.
Or there are too many goddamn bears in the way.
Or there are too many bears
So many
constantly
goddamn
breaking
bears.
the trees. Yes, all right. So we have big animals everywhere. I love this. All right.
So basically everyone's got their own like thing that they ride.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
man, I want to live on this world, guys.
Okay. So we've done that. This is done. Figured out our resources, and all right, we're gonna start. So ACAT, you're blue. So you're gonna start, and let me pull this other card back so that we can all be able to easily reference it to see what we are doing. Oh, if I can make it work.
All right, so I'm going to draw my thing.
Yeah, so you take one of the cards and go ahead and read it.
Is there any way to blow it up some?
Yeah, you can grab one of the corners. Can you not resize it?
Double click, I think, or something like that. Or just single click, or I don't fucking know.
Here.
Aha!
Yeah, there we go. Something just did that.
I did that because I guess you guys don't have the ability to resize, which is
We also have an
unfortunate.
abundance of macro cards, apparently.
So, okay. What group has the I can choose to either, is this a discussion that we have to have?
So it's what group has the highest status in the community, what must people do to gain inclusion in this group, or are there distinct family units in the community? If so, what family structures are common? Now the way this works is that ACAT, you are going to decide which one of these two things you want to answer and then put into existence in our community. And it's not a discussion. You just decide. You just pick. We don't get to contribute.
Okay.
Choose wisely.
So I think that there are distinct family units in this community, but I think that it's a family that's like couples usually, but couples are kind of defined by, okay, who has a herd, who has a group of animals, that they have to keep an eye on at all times for, to keep them fed and whatever.
So when you say couples, you mean like two people that are together.
Two people that work together, and children are taken care of communally.
Oh, okay.
And are these couples typically romantically linked, or is this just like I'm with Ted?
They can be, but not always. But they're partners. And that's kind of the closest thing to a real family. Everything else is all in the community.
That's very interesting. I like it. Okay, can one of you click on the dice and see if you can move it around and see if you can Rotate the
Oh, I
keyboard.
got control of the dice. This is
Awesome.
cool.
All right. Sweet. All right. I'm gonna just pop your guys' dice that are color coded over to your space real quick, just to get them out of my way, because I'm doing stuff. Okay, so ACAT, why don't you go ahead and draw that for us so that we've got. Do you want? Are you done with this? I can delete it.
Yeah. Okay. So I draw that by.
However you think is the best way to represent it.
Cool. Now we get to see my massive stick figure drawing skills.
This is gonna be an XKCD comic.
It's gonna be awesome.
Here we
Anyway,
go.
I'm going to draw that, but while I'm drawing that, I'm going to make my next move.
Okay.
I
Since
make
we don't have any projects, that would be actually what the next move would be at this point, is that all the projects countdown, and anybody whose project would be resolved would actually step in at this point, but we don't have any projects yet, so then now you take your action.
So I'm going to make a discovery is what I'm going to do.
Oh boy.
What are you discovering?
I'm going to discover a, you know, up the ways, like a ways up the track. I'm going to discover. By the way, is this the edge of the map, like where this railroad ends here, or is the railroad? Is it
No.
like be up the?
No.
So should I?
Do we
should
want
I
to
draw?
move our stuff a little bit more to the side so that we've got more room on this edge?
Okay, so I drew that with the understanding is that's kind of where the edge was. So I'm going to extend the railroad a little bit farther as I'm doing this, and I'm going to say that we scout further up the line, and we come to a big boxcar, a big boxcar and several tankers.
Okay. Is this a good spot for to scoot over so you've got some space there? Is this good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. So we've got boxcars and tankards.
But with no engine in sight.
All right. So
You called?
So that's a discovery. You have to go ahead and draw that on the map as well.
Yep, I'm going to keep doing that, but this will take some time. So like, go to the next thing.
All right. That is you, Insight. It is your turn. You get to draw a card.
Okie dokie. So do I read it aloud?
Yes.
The strongest among you dies. What caused their death? The weakest among you dies. Who is to blame for their death? Well, I think that's pretty straightforward. The strongest among us has been shamed because a massive, oversized, mammoth-like beast has killed him while he was trying to prove himself by killing it. And now our greatest warrior has fallen.
Do you want to name him or her? We can do that.
I guess
they're automatically
I can't call him
dead,
Barbarossa.
but we can maybe turn them into
A memorial.
yeah, or something.
What would be the name of the? I guess I'm trying to get like what is the language of this culture? What is like what is someone called?
Well, that's a great thing to decide.
It is a great thing to decide. What would it be? Like if people came from Earth, they'd probably use like really English sounding names because like let's be honest, who's getting on that ship? I can't decide if I want to call him like Ted or if I want it to be like Urgot the Wise. I guess he's not very wise if he's strong though, is he?
I mean, he might. Maybe we think wisdom is strength, or strength is wisdom.
Whoa, that is way too liberal for this society. I think his name is Dan the Man. No, I'm kidding. Can't be that.
It can be whatever you want it to be. You have full control.
I want it to be T-Bone.
I can't talk now, but know that I'm staring at you over the internet.
I can't make it Barbarossa. Stop.
I mean, these contempt tokens here should work, so you could take one if you feel contempt right now.
We're going with T-Bone.
Okay.
And I just want you guys to know I don't feel good about that decision.
Well, then why are you doing it?
Because we have to play the game.
You don't have to pick T-Bone. Nobody is making you do that.
There's only one answer to this question.
Okay. All right, we have no project clocks, so with T-Bone dead, do you want to go ahead and put like a dead T-Bone on the map or something somehow?
Well, he's been buried. You can't see him anymore.
Then you put a grave, obviously.
Yeah, I guess I can put like a cross. Not that we have crosses, but you know,
A strong arm.
it
Grave
stands for
stone.
something.
Put a strong
Grave or
arm.
Karen. Or a Karen.
It's a strong arm. We use strong arm instead of crosses. A strong arm symbol.
I can't draw that, but I can do this. That's just not even close. I don't even know what I'm doing here.
Okay.
No, I need the free hand. Jesus Christ. Sorry, that's not in this. Ugh,
Are you okay?
I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there.
Okay, so all the tokens should now be available to everybody's use.
Excellent. Which I believe makes it your turn?
Nope, because you still have an action to take, buddy.
Oh, that's right. Oh, shit. I screwed up. I should have started a discussion about what this guy's name should be. Can I still do that?
If you want to spend your turn having a
That-
discussion about
that-
a name,
That is what I want to spend because I want to know what language is like on this place.
okay, then go ahead and do that as a discussion. Now let me go ahead and for discussions, to hold a discussion, each discussion should be tied to a situation on the map, which in this case is this dead dude. You can choose to open the discussion with a question or with a declaration. Then we go clockwise and everybody gets to weigh in once, sharing a single argument for the situation. If you opened with a question, you then get to go at the end with your own argument or statement as well. So do you want to open with a question or with a declaration?
I would open with a question. And the
Right.
question is, why shouldn't these names be common American names?
I'm not sure that has anything to do with anything on the map, but okay, let's go with that.
Well, it has to do with this dead guy. Apparently, we ran into a naming crisis when one of our members died, and we didn't know how to properly memorialize him. So,
As a programmer, that happens to me a lot.
so your question is why shouldn't we use American English? And it is clockwise, so that is me. What is my argument for this?
And a completely acceptable argument is you should.
Yeah, I actually think I'm going to say you should because, I mean, we see plenty of things that say, yeah, the Chinese with their larger population are going to end up being the language of importance, but they're about to have a population crash because of their
Yeah, they are.
single child policy. So I don't think Chinese is going to end up being the common language. But with the scientific community all being English speakers, I do think that is going to be a common language that carries through. So I'm going to say it should be.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've never heard of this Earth place. Sounds fake. Sounds made up.
Oh, we've been here for a little while.
I love it.
Yeah, I think. So I think you may not have heard of this Earth place, and you may be a representative of a number of people who feel that way. But the reality is, a lot of people, especially the older people, have, and not out of desire, but out of respect for them, we still do use traditional names, even though those names mean nothing to you.
I like it.
I like how these stick figures look so joyful.
They
so
do. They look like
happy.
they're dancing.
So to that end, what is the name of like a strong guy, like Usain Bolt or something? Except he's fast, not strong. Then we'll go with T-Bone. I'm good with T-Bone.
I mean, T-Bone's kind of a strong person name, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and that's my turn.
Okay. Sorry, I am moving a bunch of stuff around in an attempt to accommodate what we've decided to do with the map. Um, so, just a second. Almost. All right, I have a card. There is a large body of water on the map. Where is it and what does it look like? Or there is a giant man-made structure on the map. Where is it and why is it abandoned?
I should just mute myself. Oh God.
You should just mute yourself.
Go ahead and mute yourself and say all the things you want to say. But I'm going to go ahead and do the giant man-made structure because I feel like we've already kind of got a large body of water-ish, sufficient enough. So there's a giant man-made structure. Where is it and why is it abandoned? Where is it and why is it abandoned? So your carts are these guys down here, right? ACAT?
Yeah, the arrow points to where they are on the railroad.
And these were just some abandoned railroad carts that were found on the railroad, right?
Yep.
All right, further down the railroad, there is actually a great big train station. Just a big old train station with like a train yard and like ticket booths, the whole 9 yards. Is this enormous train station and it is completely abandoned. Why is it abandoned?
I can hear inside shouting.
I know.
Gosh, was it that loud? You heard it from where you're sitting?
I think it is abandoned because Insight, why do you have an autumn card?
Because I'm red.
Oh lordy god, did you read an autumn card?
What?
You're supposed
I
to
thought
read from the spring deck.
this was unclear to me.
I'm so sorry. You know what? I'm gonna hide the other decks so that you can't have a problem. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
But I need to make
I
you
mean, I got it figured out now.
get this to go away. Come on, discard. Damn you.
Yeah, that did sound awfully grim for a spring card.
It did. But you didn't like lift it up onto the thing, so I didn't actually like realize that you had done that wrong.
Oops.
All right, there. Now it should be just the spring cards.
Just the spring cards.
And you know what? We're gonna double back so that you do your turn properly.
Okay.
Unkill T-Bone. Sorry.
Spent so much time wondering about T-Bone.
I know. And now he doesn't exist. Or he does, but he's alive.
We learned something even so.
The reason this place is abandoned is because there was mining operation that opened up a vein of something underneath the train station, and it just started killing people and making people sick. So everybody has just stayed away, and there's like a perimeter of like ticker tape that you don't go around. That way you don't get sick. There's the ticker
Cool.
tape perimeter. Okay, so that is my contribution. A mysteriously dangerous, poisonous something train station. we don't have any projects, so I'm going to take an action now. And I am going to... I think we should start a project. I think we need a project going on. And I think the project that we need is to domesticate some of these bigger animals for use, because we don't have a whole lot of stuff going on and we don't want them just running around. So I'm going to start a project of domestication, and we're going to mark that up by having a nice little corral. I'm going to make a little corral that we're going to stick things inside of. And where did I put those dice? There they are. I think domestication probably takes a while.
Domestication takes probably years, but if you want to just talk taming them,
Yeah. It's essentially taming them, because yeah, we can't do full-fledged domestication in just a few weeks.
I would say 4 is fine.
4 sounds all right. All right, so I've got a 4-week project going on, and that is my turn. Now, Insight, we're going to double back for you to do a
Okay.
spring card.
What important and basic tools does the community lack, or where are you storing your food? Is this a risky place to store things? ACAT is reading my mind right now. He knows exactly what I'm going to do. We're not storing our food in a very good place. It's really not a smart place to put food. The abandoned Fallout shelter was never a good place to put any food. And the abandoned Fallout shelter is, so it used to be this this structure we dug into a hill, because that was a thing we were concerned about at one point. The problem is the Fallout shelter got hit and it got broken open, and whatever hit it was able to seep into the shelter. But there's a lot of food there. It's hard to move all of it, and some of it's just kind of stayed there.
So where's the Fallout shelter? I think you need to
I'm
draw that
working
on
on
the
it.
map. Yeah.
Fallout shelter, actually, let's do this in red, as in don't go here.
That's a good idea.
Is here.
Well, no wonder. I mean, it's by the river. Of course things are going to leak into it.
Yeah.
That's
It's
a
just
terrible place
bad
for a
news.
Fallout shelter. What were we thinking?
Oh, we had to put the food with the people, and the people were in the Fallout shelter. I don't know. Just all got out of hand so fast.
Yes, it did. All right. Okay, so I have a project, so that's going to tick down by 1. And then
Wait a second.
I still have a rest of my turn, yeah.
so that's the next part. Projects happen, and then you take your action.
Okay.
So now it is your action.
Well, in that case, what are we waiting a second about?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Where did that thing go? Okay, so I can either can I
Oh yeah,
increase
here.
the
Let me.
size of this thing? Thank you. Oh, I definitely wanted to discover something new, and I think I have an idea of what I want to discover.
Cool.
So this is more of a, it's hard to put this on the map, but some of the electronics we brought with us from our previous galaxy, we don't use most of them anymore, because without GPS and internet, there's not really a lot to do with them. But some of them that are radio wave sensitive are picking up things, and they're responsive to what appears to us to be ambient noise, but it really is something that bothers them. Wait, why are you taking my card?
You're done with it. I have to discard it.
Okay.
I was just going to do it for you while you were taking your turn, but I'm sorry I disrupted you.
So I'm trying to figure out how to express this, but there are places in this on this continent where things just get a little strange with electronics.
So like radio tower, stand next to a radio tower type deal.
Yeah.
And where's this at?
Let's see if I can figure out how to draw a circle.
Hold the Alt key.
Yes, yeah, got it. So I think there's definitely one, like, this whole area is like that. And there's some stuff over here too.
Come on, one thing.
Oh
One thing
my
at a
god,
time
you
here.
cannot put a million small circles on the board. No.
Sure I can.
No.
Discover one thing at a time. Put one thing on the map at a time.
The circles are one thing.
Oh my god. I will
I'll
let
get
you
rid of
do
a couple of them.
Yeah, please. The small circles are just going to like clutter up so much. Okay, so you discover these regions that they no, what do they do to the electronics?
They just the electronics that receive radio waves. So basically, like cell phones and what else is like anything that's built to interact with like the internet or Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. All of those things receive signals for some reason. Like they do things, they activate,
Okay.
and they shouldn't.
Yeah. Okay, is that your turn?
That is my turn.
It is a cat now.
Okay, I'll do my thing.
Kitty, can you please?
Oh, whoops.
do that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Inside.
Did you just let me steal your card?
I don't think he had a choice in the matter. Oh my lord.
Oh, he did. It asks you.
Okay. Let me make it bigger.
How'd you make it bigger? Like I can't.
Apparently you can't resize it. I just had to grab
Anyway.
the corner. Alright, what do we got?
So someone new arrives. Who? I think someone arrives and
there's an or.
Yeah, but there's an or, but I ignored that.
We can all read.
I'm just saying you're supposed to, but okay.
Or I'm ignoring two of the community's younger members get into a fight.
Okay.
Because I want someone new to arrive.
Okay.
And I think someone's going to arrive and sit up in the middle of that electronic zone by the woods. And I think it's like a cult almost that comes down there and sets up in the middle. And they don't seem hostile, but they don't seem interested in our community either.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be drawing that. They have like a tent that they set up.
Okay.
And
That's starting a Radio Shack or something.
All right. Decrease projects.
Right.
Okay.
And I am going to. I think I'm going to make a discovery. And actually, no. I think I'm going to start a project.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we are going to haul the those train cards into the train station to use as and to try and flush out the inside, flush out the danger zone in the train station. Did someone take contempt for that?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this isn't a long project. I think this is like a 2-week project.
So the part of the project is that you're just hauling the cars to the station, right? Because then, like, otherwise that's too complex of a project if you're then going to do a thing when you get to the station.
It's drag it to the station and then do a thing, but it shouldn't take that long.
Well, I feel like doing the thing. If you're
Yeah.
like eradicating danger from the car, that might be the complicated part of this.
Yes, and that might take a
It's
while.
it's only complicated if you're doing it the hard way.
I could just toss a grenade and it'd take like 3 minutes. You don't even need some dice.
I mean, if you're going to eradicate something from there, I feel like you need more detailing.
Blow it up. Blow the thing up.
Well,
The whole thing.
hang on. I have a
Explode.
question.
That is
I have a
not
logical
what I
question.
thought.
I have a logical question. Why do you take the cars to the train station if you're just going to blow them up?
Yes.
Why don't you blow them up where they stand?
Because then it gets rid of the bad stuff in the train station.
So are you essentially
So we're
just
blowing up the whole
loading-
train station.
You're loading the carts up with dynamite and then shoving it down the car.
Of course not.
The
Of course
tracks.
not. Loading them. One, my turn.
I know. I'm asking clarifying questions because I do not understand what you're doing.
One, shut up. Two,
I know, but still.
Of course, I'm not using dynamite. I'm using liquid hydrogen.
he's got a point.
Okay. Let me just make sure I understand what you're doing, though. You're gonna take the carts to the train station and then explode all of that.
Wait, I have another clarifying question. Is it like downhill?
I think so. I think it's very flat.
Okay, I got another question. Is there like a pool of oil at the train station of some kind?
We
I don't
don't know
know.
what's at the train
We
station.
don't know. You can just if you
Okay.
discover it, I guess there is.
Okay, I got it now.
But we're doing a thing.
Okay.
All we know about the train station is that it is bad and people die when they go there.
Well, not for long.
Exactly. We're going to solve that problem. Anyway, that's my project.
All right. That is your project. Insight is your turn.
Yes, it is indeed my turn. I'm gonna draw the right card.
Wait, it's the only one you can draw now.
Are there children in your community? If there are, what is their role? Oh man, I just had some dark thoughts. How old? How old are the eldest members of the community? What special needs do they have? So I feel like there is a coming of age process in our community where we're not considered an adult, and being an adult has some special privileges until you tame a beast capable of burden. And once you've done that, you are eligible to find a partner and move out into the prairie.
So there are children.
Mhm.
And what was the question? I can't see your card.
Do you see it now?
No.
Are there children in your community? If there are, what is their role in the community?
Okay.
You can put it on the board. Like
How do I do that?
Drag it.
To-
To the board.
Oh,
There you go.
okay.
Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. So they're kids, and then they have a coming of age, and then they're adults.
Right, but it's not like a bar mitzvah type thing, or like a first. What's the thing Catholics do? First communion or whatever.
hmm
It's like you're expected to accomplish something.
Okay, so their role is that they have to like work towards something that then identifies them as a competent person.
Right, exactly.
Cool. All right. Next step are project clocks. Insight sorry, you didn't have a project. ACAT, will you go ahead and tick yours down by 1? And what is your action this turn?
I have an idea that I like. I'm just not sure how to do it. So, no, I'll save that for next time. So I can start a project. I think we need to start a project. There's so many things I want to do. I think we need to move the food to somewhere safe and create like a proper granary. And I think that's going to take a long time.
Okay.
So I'm going to make a little house. Color our houses. That'll work. Sorry, this is hard. Anyway, it's going to be a 5-count clock.
Okay.
So we can go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna do my turn, and then we'll take a break. Does that sound all right? Because it's
Sure.
been an hour.
Sure. By the way, for some reason the dice aren't won't go to 1 for me.
I can say it at 1.
No, my dice, the blue dice.
Yes, both of them are at 1.
Weird. I see them as 2s.
Weird. I see them as 1s. Try refreshing your browser?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Did that fix it?
No, I'll mess with it later.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see there's 1 too. That's weird.
Okay, so where does everyone sleep? Who is unhappy with this arrangement and why? Or what natural predators roam this area? Are you safe? So there are macrofauna, and there are dire wolf-sized pack animals that roam the forest, and they have realized that we are here. And so they have started coming out from the forest and attacking us in the town. And we are relatively safe in that we can see them coming and then all lock ourselves inside of a building. That is the extent of the safety we have.
So we're unarmed.
Basically, yes. Because we were not prepared for something like this.
I know a project I'm starting.
And that is the angry creature. Okay. That is my card. Everybody advance their projects, and mine and ACAT's are going to resolve. So I'll do mine first. We have now managed to get a herd of like mammoths equivalents tamed, and we are able to kind of keep them in a corral over here on this side of the river. And they're very strong animals, so they can do things like move train track move train carts and whatnot. They are currently okay, but they might be at risk for getting predated. So, but we now have some tame, giant, strong creatures.
Is this something we should add as a resource?
I was about to ask that. We now have what would that abundance be called?
Mammoths.
Just mammoths? Okay, that works. Mammoths. Tamed mammoths. Mammoths. There we go. All right. ACAT, what happened with your project?
So it goes about as well as you expect.
Oh, yes.
Tell us what happened.
So with some of the newly trained mammoths helping to push.
Oh no! I
this
just
thing,
started to like them.
Oh man.
The thing is pushed into the train yard, And can I make a person's name here?
Yes, you can absolutely name people in any situation. If you feel like there is an individual that is like leading a project, give them a name.
So, uh, Sarata, whose idea this was, uh, uh, uses a manager, sets, uh, opens a container and sets a slow burning fire near it, and this liquid rushes down into the mines. He is sprinting full blast away when the entire thing goes up in a great conflagration, just wrecking this whole train yard. And as it goes, fires sprout up across the prairie, as if there was as the tank floods underneath the tunnels and sets off other explosions from unknown sources.
My contempt was justified.
I mean, I didn't say it wasn't.
So let me just see if I understand here. We're defenseless. We took the only explosives we had and we put them in a train.
And then we exploded it so badly that it actually started burning up parts of the rest of our prairie.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly the thing we did.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Someone should have discussed it. I'm just saying.
Okay, are we gonna take a quick break?
I still have an action.
Okay.
Let me
Take
do
an
my
action.
action real quick. and then yes, we will take a quick break. Okay, so I am going to All right, you know what? I don't know what I'm gonna do now. Now that ACAT has set the prairies on fire, I'm actually befuddled and I don't know what to do. So let's take this break and then I'll come back and do my action.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay. I made a mistake. Oh man, I made the mistake of getting food and now I'm being hounded by the kitties. But I know what I want to do. I want to hold a discussion,
Yes.
and the discussion is we need to put a committee in place that will review and control people doing shit because when we let individuals run off and do whatever the fuck they feel like, we end up apparently exploding our land all around us. We end up taming the prey creature of these horrible wolves that now are trying to eat us too, and we just have all of these issues that would be better managed by putting some people in charge to decide what does and doesn't happen.
Well, hang on. My partner and I came here because we're part of an arachno-socialism cult, and we believe that any government is a bad government.
Actually, it was a cat's turn, but okay.
So it's a discussion.
Yeah, well, it's everybody takes one turn to make a statement in regards to the discussion. That's all you get. But okay, so your statement is no government?
Any government is bad government.
Cool. A cat, what do you say?
Um, so uh, the decision by decision by consensus is the only option unless someone is going to take charge by force. So it sounds like anyone who says someone should be put in charge sounds like I should be put in charge because they don't want to do the hard work of trying to convince people.
Okay, and that is our discussion. A cat, it is your turn.
Oh, no, not again.
Wait, no. Wait, it is my turn. Great.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Okay, do we have any ticking down? Oh no, we don't tick down yet.
You don't do that first. You do the card first.
But I remember how to do this. It's only been like 5 minutes.
Oh, sorry. Let me make that bigger.
You see a good omen. What is it? Or you see a bad omen. What is it? Let's go with bad omens here.
Mm-hmm.
Bad things are good. There's a ball of lightning in one of the second in the larger of the distortion zones. The ball for minutes at a time. People on watch swear that they see a giant shape out of lightning visible in silhouette. So that's a thing.
Is this a spherical ball of lightning that they're seeing?
Yes, a giant spherical ball of lightning, and they see the silhouette of a man in it.
Oh, okay.
So tick down our clocks?
So
Yes.
tick down our clocks.
Yes. And now take an action.
Okay, so I'd like to have a discussion.
Okay.
And my question is, with all of our wood going to the granary, should we round up many of these larger creatures to slaughter and use their bones for construction material instead?
The bones are sacred and they can be eaten.
Bones can be eaten?
Oh, hell yeah.
Is that what you said? Okay. Waste not, want not. If we have the ability to, in the course of our normal slaughterings, and there are bones left over, we should use them. But I don't think we should go out of our way to obtain more dead creatures for this purpose alone.
And to start off the question, I can end with a statement as well, I believe.
Yes.
So I'm going to say, bones. Not all bones are sacred. Uh, those who harm, you know, those that threaten our community, their bones should be used.
Oh, that's really good. Don't fuck up or your bones are going to be in my house.
Oh my God, that's so horrifying.
I, I don't know what you guys were. I see what the problem here is. Makes good sense to me. All right, insight.
Yes.
I get the feeling uh, Evie likes precisely none of us. I feel like those tokens are piling up.
You just said people can use each other's bones for their houses.
Oh, this is exactly what I was going to do. That's perfect. Um, there's another community somewhere on the map. Where are they, and what sets them apart from you? What belief or practice helps to unify your community? So, oh, this is perfect. So previously on Family Guy, there was a belief or practice. How do I get rid of this thing?
Um, you can't delete it? I'll delete it.
Thank you.
There it goes.
There was a belief or practice that we are one cohesive unit that was brought here to do good, that was brought here to kind of create a second home for humanity, and that mission drove us. Unfortunately, and I'm just going to segue right into my action here, um, the events of the train station were not well received by the cult living in the forest. The explosion created a forest fire, which began to burn down and disrupt their lifestyle, and they have made their displeasure known to us. They have copied our tradition and have begun building walls pointed toward us of the bones of those of us they've captured. Let it be a lesson.
Okay.
Oh, tick down your clocks, by the way.
Yeah, tick down your clock. And was that a discover something new, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
nice. All right.
By the way, I'm marking the effect of that discussion with a little bone, with a little crossbone by the community.
That's good. I like that.
All right. An old piece of machinery is discovered broken but perhaps repairable. What is it and what would it be useful for? Or an old piece of machinery is discovered cursed and dangerous. How does the community destroy it? There are a series of train engines that start rolling down the train track towards us. And they're on fire.
Yes.
And they seem to have an additional glow to them, more than just the fire. Because the fire is like green and blue. And they're rolling down the track towards us. And the community manages to destroy this by, oh my god, by rerouting the 3 engines into this other community that has set themselves up on the edge of the forest.
They were always inferior to us.
So there's going to be, yeah, I'm gonna draw, that's some stuff over there. Tick down your clocks. Is anybody's clock finished? No? Okay.
Nope.
Action. Discover something, hold discussion, start a project.
So sorry, just to be clear, that cult that
Yes.
so
Yes.
it's just been blown up.
Well, it's had 3 train engines rerouted towards them. I have left it up to further discovery as to what happened. Maybe it bounced off their bone walls. Who knows?
Train engines bouncing.
Off bone. I am going to. Um, damn it. What do we need? I'm gonna start a project. I'm gonna start a project of trying to get the fire geyser nearest to us under control. So I'm trying to put this fire geyser out. I think that'll take 3 weeks.
Sounds good.
All right, and that is my turn.
Takes 3 weeks to put out a fire. That is a serious fire.
Well,
Been going on this whole time.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been burning for a while.
The fucking eternal flame.
Well, that's why it's taking 3 weeks to put it out. So,
Yeah.
okay, cool. It is a cat's turn.
So I will do the thing.
Yep, draw a card.
We ran out of cards in the deck.
What? Oh, spring is over. Hey guys, that was spring. Spring
Cool.
is done. That's right, because we each had 3 turns. Okay, so it is on to summer. ACAT, why don't you start us off with summer?
And can you do the thing?
Yeah, can you see it? Oh, it's there. Never mind. Sorry, I was doing wrong.
You discover a cache of supplies or resources out of new abundance. A scarcity has gone unaddressed for too long. Start a project that will alleviate a scarcity. I think we need some goddamn wood. Like otherwise we're gonna have to resort to using the bones of our enemies, like barbarians. So I'm going to start a project to stockpile wood from the forest.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with 4 weeks to stockpile, sufficient to make it to deal with it. Right over there. And now I get to pick a thing. Let's see.
Insight, is that you?
Yeah.
We had the same idea at the exact same time. Okay, no, projects countdown, and I think yours finishes, doesn't it?
The granary is done.
So does that mean we now have an abundance of anything?
Well, we certainly have more than we did before, but does that constitute an abundance?
Yeah. Does it?
Well, it's not my turn, so I can't really tell you that, but
Well, it's your project, so
Yeah,
you
your
can make
project.
that
Yeah,
statement.
you can.
that's true. I think what ended up happening here was not only do we have an abundance of food, but we have an abundance of, I guess, team spirit, of kind of a sense of community, because we built something together,
Uh-huh.
and that is
Well-
far more meaningful than the food.
Well, you can say, hey, that's people should discard contempt now, but that's up to them.
Mhm.
What the hell?
Okay, ACAT, it's still your turn, right? You have an
Yep.
action?
And we don't have anything left in that front. So I think we are going to discover something. I think I'm going to discover something uh, on the edge of the flaming trash fire that was a train station. Um, there's a herd of migrating creatures here in the summer, and they are large and fast, and they try and stay near the fire. They're definitely afraid of cold, even on summer night, even during the summer. Uh, so they're migrating animals, and we don't know how long they'll be here.
But for now, they're congregating.
For now, they're congregating around that fire because it lets them stay warm at night.
It's
Okay.
interesting they would do that in the summer of all times.
Yeah, this is you get the feeling that maybe this is outside their normal range.
Indeed.
Weird.
Indeed. Okay. Is that you?
That's me.
All right.
They are gathering around there.
All right. I'll draw a card.
You can just drag it right into the field. By the way.
Yeah. And Evie, can you do whatever it is you do?
To make it big.
Yes. Thank you. Oh no. A project can't fail? That would be terrible. Yeah, so there's this I think there's a part of this community that's become very religious. And they were very offended that we started using animal bones to build our homes. And they have or not animal bones, but bones in general to build our homes and our stuff. And they believe that the fire is sacred, and that putting it out is an affront to God, and they stand in the way of it happening.
Cool. They want an eternal burning flame.
Yes. And there's a few things that I want to do here. There's a project that I wanted to start, now I can't remember what it was. Oh, that's right. So I think that as our community grows, or at least becomes more confident with itself, maybe not in its growth in size, but not growth in population, people are wanting to build bridges across the rivers so they can more easily access the former lands of their hated enemies, the forest cult, and these weird zones. So I'm going to start a project. I think that's going to take like 4 weeks, 2 weeks for each one.
We're building bridges?
Yeah. These are literal bridges, by the way. We're not like trying to make friends or something. Something stupid like that.
All right, and that was your action?
That's my action.
Cool. All right.
Whoa, hello, don't do that.
The eldest among you dies. What causes the death? Or, the eldest among you is very sick. Caring for them and searching for a cure requires the help of the entire community. Do not reduce project dice this week. I'm going to say the eldest among us dies. And they are one of the ones who started protesting the oh, you made my thing go away, by the way. They're one of the ones who had started protesting the fire being put out, and they got very sick, and they turned kind of green and blue.
And red.
No, just green and blue.
Oh, man.
You're left out of this one. But they started getting like discoloration in their skin and in their eyes and stuff, and they got very sick, and their insides essentially kind of liquefied, and that killed them.
Holy shit.
And it is thought that maybe it's because of the fire thing that they were spending so much time around protesting. Okay.
It's dark, yo.
Reduce dice. Reduce projects. And I need to take an action.
Story of my life.
We are going to discover something new. And what we are discovering is that there are these tiny little potholes, sinkhole type things sprouting up around the city and the areas surrounding that are about the size of a small person in diameter. It was found because one of the kids fell in it and got stuck and had to have a Lassie moment. And there are just these holes that are popping up, sprouting out all over the place, and nobody really knows what they're from yet, but it's causing problems. So that is what I have discovered. I'm gonna make a bunch of little holes, which is what I yelled at Insight for doing earlier.
Okay, I go.
Yes, now it is your turn.
Can you expand the thing since I don't know why I can't do it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought I gave you guys all the control over it.
So, okay, if there are no projects underway which does not qualify, project finishes early. Which one? Why? I'm going to say the bridge finishes early.
Yes.
And it finishes early because people are starting to think that maybe with these sinkholes that are appearing, maybe we should start moving the town over the water, closer to the forest, and the bridge would be needed to do that. So that got expedited.
Okay, I like that. And since my project finished, I get to say something. And I think the bridges were, even though I said they weren't metaphorical, they were also metaphorical, in the sense that we have like this pockmarked landscape now.
Yep.
Since it became easier to move around, people did move around, and so like when we came here, we all kind of had a role, right? Like I got on this spaceship because I was one of the few doctors where, I was someone who knew a lot about botany, and people kind of stuck to their lane. But by being able to move further away from each other, people are more independent and kind of less willing to follow like this general idea that we've had as a community. We're all kind of becoming more independent.
Okay. Well, I'm going to hold a discussion,
Mhm.
and the discussion is with all these holes. These holes are big enough for some of the children and some of the almost adults to fit through. Should we send them down there to see what is happening? Insight? Actually.
I think that it is not the place of this community to tell its members what to do, but if they elect to do it of their own free will, then so be it.
I think it's the right idea, but the wrong execution. I think that we do still have some working technology at a basic enough level to create scouts to go down there and do that instead of putting human lives at risk like that.
Okay. So I will say that children are the future of the community, and we shouldn't send them down there. But on top of that, who knows what else might be down there, and even sending a scout might provoke something or cause something to explode.
Says the one who exploded everything. I
Hey,
want that to be Sarates who says that. I would love it if Sarates says that.
Seratus?
Seratus. I would love that.
okay. I mean, we're you know
And that's it.
we're not playing specific people here. We're just people.
Yeah.
Well, you can name certain individuals if they become like
But I'm saying that I'm
leader or
not
whatever.
focusing on being one particular voice. I'm just
No,
one
I get it.
particular. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's the discussion.
Cool.
Okay. Does that bring it back to me?
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. No? Draw. Evie, if you would be so kind.
Mhm.
Predators and bad omens are afoot. You are careless and someone goes missing under ominous circumstances. Who? Predators and bad omens are afoot. What measures do you take to keep everyone safe and under surveillance? Surveillance. Do not reduce Project Ice this week. I'll tell you who goes missing. Two people go missing. Seratus and Soraya go missing. And they're found later, like half a day later, together in one of the sinkholes, having clearly been getting to know each other very well. And it leads to this little colony's very first pregnancy. So I would like to hold a discussion. What the hell do we do about that?
Reduce Project Dice first. And okay, so your discussion is what do we do about somebody getting pregnant?
Yes.
I mean,
So,
we currently don't have appropriate power supplies to run in vitro fertilizations and artificial wombs and stuff. So this is what it's gonna take now. We're gonna have to do it this way.
All right.
so I'm going, someone. Who was the other person? Seratas and
Seratos and Soraya.
uh, you know, Soraya should, uh, should go back to working with the children for the duration of the pregnancy. While she's pregnant, she should be working with the children, and we have to protect new life.
So I get to make a statement now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So I think Soraya's pregnancy is welcomed, although a little like maybe you should have thought this through, but like whatever, people are cool with it. And she is kind of welcomed as someone who can do more like domestic roles. So we've got life growing.
All right, my turn. Outsiders arrive in the area. Why are they a threat, and how are they vulnerable? Or, outsiders arrive in the area. How many, and how are they greeted? I think what we get is a replenishment of this this camp down here, but it's not by the same kind of crazy cult fanatical types, but it's clearly the same like type of people, the community that they came from. But it's this community that is spreading out, and they're doing so in an aggressive fashion. They are turning the train engines into weapons, they're turning the bone walls into strong defenses, and they're domesticating the dire wolf creatures for attacks. Um, they are they're clearly not willing to coexist with us. I think the way that they are weak, though, is that at the moment they didn't bring a whole lot of supplies with them to take over this kind of abandoned settlement. And so right now they don't have a whole lot of defense and stuff going for them. So if we struck quick, we would be able to put that threat down. All right, we have a project clock that finishes.
We have lumber.
We have lumber now. That's just alleviating that scarcity,
Yes.
moving it to abundance. I'm gonna draw like a little stockpile over there. I'm gonna say that we gathered the wood, but one of the in the middle of the night, someone has drawn bone symbols across a lot of the lumber.
This is such a weird contention in this community. It is so weird. It's great.
You know, but I shouldn't have deleted that. Whatever.
Oh, what project do I want to start? I want.
I'm gonna just draw a stockpile of lumber right there.
Mhm. Um, with the celebration of the lumber, some people have turned their eyes on the iron tracks that are sitting nearby and recognize the strength of that metal and have decided to harvest it. So I'm starting a project of people who are going to start pulling up the railroad and using it in building their houses and making their tools.
Okay.
I think that'll go for 3 weeks.
Fine by me.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
So are you going to draw something
I'm going
around,
to. Yep.
both there and around the new community or the new community of outsiders?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Thank you for reminding me of that. Put new people down there. Angry people.
Okay, just letting you know because that might be relevant in the near future.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Thank you.
All right, my draw.
It is your turn.
A contingent within the community has acted on their frustrations. What have they damaged and why did they damage it? Is it permanent? I realize there was a first one, but I'm ignoring it.
Very good.
Okay. What have they damaged and why did they damage it?
So I think it is people who are afraid of this new group, and I think they damaged the bridge. That they pulled up parts of the bridge and turned it into like a barricade across the river instead of a bridge.
Is this some kind of an allegory we're trying to make here?
No, they really just don't want a bridge across this thing, so that when they attack, they're frustrated by the lack of action on dealing with these outsiders. I think Gregory is the leader. Gregory, I think Gregory and his partner Vinci. Between Vinci, he kind of pulled up the things, and Gregory kind of fashioned it into kind of these spikes that he kind of used to line the river.
Nice.
Anyway, that happened.
Project clock countdown time. It's just mine? Okay.
And I think there's a discovery. I think some of the children have poked into these sinkholes and found just a network of tunnels beneath them. And the big thing, the tunnels go deep. Some of the tunnels are very, very worn, and some of them poke out underneath the opposing side's camp.
Did we use all of those explosives?
We didn't use any explosives. I don't know where this thing about us having explosives comes from. No, like seriously, when did we talk about using explosives for anything?
Liquid hydrogen.
Well, yeah, but like you can't. It wasn't like you had to stick a dynamite line around.
So I'm gonna classify liquid hydrogen under the category of explosives. Is that cool?
Okay, but we didn't have any. We're just kind of sitting there. It's like whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, that color's terrible. But there's just a network of tunnels a lot underneath the settlement, and it goes deeper.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't realize this is going to be a 3-dimensional map.
Yeah, I'm like, how do I make that happen? Can't create new layers.
I'm not sorry.
Maybe use like a light gray to show where the tunnels go or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a no. He used light gray for the bridge. Damn it.
Oh yeah, also draw your spikies.
Yep, we'll do.
Insight,
Use
it is
pink.
your
Pink is
turn.
great.
It is my turn. Introduce a mystery if like we don't have enough mysteries. Unattended situation becomes problematic, scary. Oh, so those tunnels, that network of tunnels, someone has gone missing, and this time they weren't having fun. There was a scream, and a guy named. I really want to name him Blastoise. Can I name him Blastoise?
You can name
No.
him whatever you want.
No, you can't.
You can. It's your turn. You have full control.
Realize that I have this entire thing of contempt tokens here. I will take all of them.
Do it.
His name is Tony. And Tony disappeared with a scream in the night into one of the holes. So that's the card. And I think I want to start a project because this has scared people to death. And there is now a new project that's probably going to take a while, probably going to take 6 turns. And people are going to start making weapons.
Okay. Is it now an EV turn?
I believe so. Okay, card. Summer is a time for production and tending to the earth. Start a project related to food production. Summer is a time for conquest and the gathering of might. Start a project related to military readiness and conquest. You already did that, damn it.
I mean, You do it again.
So you're making weapons, is what yours is, right?
Yes. Yes.
Did I turn my... I did not turn my thing down last time. We skipped that. Okay, I think what's going to happen is people have started people have started practicing with our domesticated, our tamed mammoths, and have started practicing like siege attacking and
Wait, what? I have so many
military
questions.
maneuvering and whatnot. And they've set up like a battle arena up here in the top portion of the prairie region that the animals are on, and they've started like creating battle animals um, as a part of this military readiness and conquest. And I think this is only going to take 2 weeks. These animals are already tame and they're pretty smart, so it'll go pretty quick. Okay, and
So
now
it's less sieging and more like raiding.
yes, it's
Okay.
it's being able to destroy buildings.
Oh, oh,
I'm
oh. So
gonna I'm gonna
yeah.
take a contempt,
Okay, all
and
right,
I'm also gonna need an autumn.
we're empty. Okay, that's fine. We're not done. Projects decrease. Okay, so my project is complete. We now have an abundance of iron, railroad iron, that is probably being utilized to make weapons instead of making houses.
I
But
was going to argue that should tick down the other project clock one additional one.
okay, yeah. Rather than making iron in abundance, the other project clock will tick down an additional one because the iron and stuff is going to that.
Hmm.
Okay. And for my action, um, let's see. I don't know. Let's see. We've got weapons being made. We've got battle animals being made.
I like this village, man.
I think I think I'm going to start a project where people are trying to use this region because our enemies are set up in one of these radio wave regions. And so um, we've got a project that we're setting up trying to see if we can use this region's weird behavior to help us in any sort of combative way. Um, Trying to like harness that ball of lightning or make it so that the radio signals can um, properly like power and manipulate our devices in a way that we desire. Um, but we've got a project going on over here.
Okay.
Okay, and that is autumn, which or summer, which we're about to go into autumn. Shall we take a 5 minute break because it is again at the 1 hour mark?
Sounds good. Sounds
Sure.
like we're about on time here.
Yeah, this is going pretty good.
Okay.
So
See you guys in like 5 minutes.
yeah, sounds good. Yeah, let's do a review of what the hell is happening because we've got a lot of shit going down right now.
I was actually going to do the talking about the card, just why I can't resize it.
Oh, hmm.
Like I can move it,
Mm-hmm. Let me see if there's like some sort of thing.
I can flip it.
You can bop it.
It does not have anything that gives me determination on like who has the ability to resize stuff. But what I could do is set a specified card size. This might be
Yeah,
horribly big now, but try dragging it on the map and see if it works. Nope, it didn't work. Might not work for that card. I don't know. Here.
yeah, I don't get it.
I'm not sure why.
So disease spreads through the community. Choose one. Spend the week quarantining and treating the disease. Project dice are not reduced this week. Nobody knows what to do about it. Add a health and fertility as a scarcity. I think we actually do know what to do about it. I think we actually do have people who know what to do and manage to quarantine it.
Mhm.
They're people who remember, the lessons of health uh, and understand how
Gym
to.
class.
Yeah. So things are quarantined, but keeping people away from sick people and keeping people off projects while still doing everything else just grinds everything to a halt.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
What is the disease, can I ask?
Uh,
How do we treat it?
okay. The disease is um, people start turning bluish, like like
What
the
the
way
Smurf?
like the, like the way that old man died.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But this time we see it coming, and people who catch it are healthier. So it's mostly about bed rest, but also uh, we find a lot of herbs growing along the tracks that seem to make the disease less lethal while the body recovers.
Cool.
They still like start throwing their guts out though as they continue. So I'm gonna draw some little herbs along the tracks for the medicine that we picked up.
That sounds like a good idea. Okay, project
Uh,
dice.
Project dice.
Everyone decreases by 1.
Uh, wasn't the effect of that
No,
card that it
no,
doesn't?
it affected the card that
Oh,
doesn't happen.
that's right. Thank you. I totally spaced that part.
Got excited.
I did.
Got excited. It is
Uh-huh.
exciting. Um, I think that there's going to be a discovery.
Okay.
Um, I think that um, as our scouts are kind of surrounding this group, we see caravans, wagon caravans um, coming into this camp, but it's a lot of children and elderly and non-fighters, and it looks like almost a whole of an evacuation. Like there's a whole civilization uh, on the move here, coming to this camp.
Oh, good. We finally got rid of them.
No, no, they're coming to the camp.
Toward us?
Yes. Like
Yes,
like
Oh,
so
shit.
so these were frontline people who came in to secure the region and now they're shipping in all of their like kids and shit to come and live with them.
Right, and they look ragged. They look, beat up and worse for wear. This isn't, this is like a refugee column. And they're in like covered wagons, prairie style.
Then we should strike immediately.
Well, we didn't get anything done this week.
Right. We were a little busy too.
Yeah. What if they brought the disease?
So they're coming in. So they're coming in just huge numbers.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Discovery.
And that'll bring
Okay.
it around to me, I believe.
Yes. You want to draw like a wagon full of people or something?
That is the thing I'm doing as soon as I remember how to work this interface again.
You've been away for like just a few minutes.
Oh, you're not going to believe this.
Insight. Why?
We've been here before.
Oh my God, somebody had a vision and now it's come true.
I have a really dark thought, but I'm not gonna go with it.
Do whatever you want.
No, man, that's too dark. It's too dark, man.
Okay.
Um, the strongest among us dies, but he is not strong in his ability to fight. He was the leader of the weapon making. Um, Lester, sadly, has bitten the dust. A victim of the plague, brought on by the refugees. So while he dies and it briefly halts the weapons production, he's seen as a martyr, and that makes up for all that lost time. So now I can draw my gravestone.
Yes, now you can draw your gravestone.
Oh, good.
Projects go down this week, right?
Yes.
Okay. Whoops, did not mean to make that go away.
These are the worst wagons.
Dude, you should see my gravestone.
And then you put his grave right near where the medicinal plants grow.
Yeah, I mean, what could go wrong, right? But that sounds like the perfect place to put a dead body.
Totally the perfect place. There's no reason not to do that.
Listen, I know a lot about medicine, and dead bodies are good for things.
It nourishes the soil.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You still need action.
I do still need an action. So soon,
You also need to reduce your project die.
I'm doing it right now.
Okay.
Soon, we will be ready for war. And in their bedraggled state, they won't be able to stop us. Do we attack now or wait?
If we attack before we're ready, even in their bedraggled state, there's no guarantee that we will succeed. It is better for us to make sure that we've got our strength secure and then be able to crush them completely than to attempt to now and end up dragging it out in some sort of long death rattle.
We should reconsider attacking it all. I thought the point of the weapons project was to make ourselves strong, not to commit the sins that we have been warned about.
What do I say here? Yeah, I think something like the sins of Earth are not of our own. We came here to make a better place, not one racked by their guilt. So yeah, I think maybe that means the weapons project is called off. Kind of like a symbolic thing.
Um,
I don't think it's called off.
I
Like
don't think you can stop it on this turn. Maybe if you did a start a project, which is to end a project on your next turn as an
now
action.
that's now I think the project continues. I think the project continues basically no matter what here. Like there's no just because some people might call against it doesn't mean they'll be able to stop people who are working on it.
It's true.
True.
So like that's the downside of this whole socialism thing, this communism with no leaders thing.
Got a point.
I
Got a
had tried
point.
establishing a freaking government. Y'all booed me out of the room.
Yeah,
I mean, we didn't say you couldn't establish a government.
you just said we weren't going to listen to it.
Yeah. Same difference. Okay, that was your turn. So it is my turn. Okay. There we go. A project just isn't working out as expected. Radically change the nature of this project. Don't modify the project, die. When it resolves, you'll be the one responsible for telling the community how it went. Or something goes foul and supplies are ruined, add a new scarcity.
Beat swords into plowshares, Evie.
Oh man, what has just happened to my roll 20? Okay, there. Something wacky was going on. Oh man, okay, do I want to radically change the nature of a project? I think that might make sense. Yeah, I think what's happened is that the people who are studying the ball lightning region, they no longer are attempting to weaponize what they're finding over there. Instead, they're realizing that it has some sort of an effect on biology, and they're attempting to harness that effect to greater purpose.
Hmm.
Didn't see that one coming.
I did not.
All right. Project Die, go down. So the war mammoths are ready. They are trained and capable. Um, because there seems to be a lack of consensus amongst the community, they're not utilized right now. So they stay in their war pen. And now I have to do an action. Start a project, hold a discussion, discover something new. Um, we have a discovery that comes up, which is that these, what are these, elk things that are down by
Yeah.
the fire?
Yeah.
They have, like, charged up and
Ooh.
become a source of spreading heat now. And as the autumn is coming, they are moving around in an attempt to find even more warm regions. They've started following the little vents that we still have burning, and so we now have fires being started in the middle of the night by these creatures that are wandering around, getting closer to the vents.
Cool.
Okay.
That's awesome. Do the thing.
Do the thing.
Okay, it came out right.
Yeah, I was able to set a set size, so I'm trying that instead of since you can't change it, I'll just make it be always big.
So someone sabotages a project and the project fails as a result. Who did this? Why? Um, I think it who I think it was Syria. I think Syria sabotaged the weapons project
Surya.
Why?
because they remember the sins of Earth. They've been spending more time with the elders who've been telling her about the sins of Earth, and the weapons project just seemed like more of that.
Okay, so that takes that die off the board, right?
That does.
Oh no. But how will we defend ourselves from the animals?
That's a really good question. All right, my die goes down. Um, what's your action?
Uh, I think I'm going to start a project, and I think uh, some kids, some of the young adults, are going to be spending time underneath the opposing camp, listening in on them and spying. And I think that'll take like a week.
We got some secret agents in the group, huh?
Bum, 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 bum.
All right, what are you gonna do, Insight?
Probably start by drawing a card.
Okay.
Someone leaves the community after issuing a dire warning. Who and what is the warning? Someone issues a dire warning and the community leaps into action to avoid the disaster. What is the warning? Oh man. Cancel my project, will you? I think what happens is a schism forms in the community. There is a group of pacifists who want nothing but peace, and a group that sees only opposing groups as their natural feeding ground. The weapons project is restarted with a vigor. But it's going to take 3 turns because they had to get it going back again. And I think the way to represent this is that there's now both a metaphorical and a very real line. Come on. Drawn in the community. And I need to take an action.
Well, dice go down. So, ACAT and my projects resolve.
You first.
Um,
Ancest. Also, there's a very nice stick figure, so it's much better than my stick figures.
Oh my god, I know. How does she do that?
Put little goggles on them for safety. You have to safety stuff, safety gear.
She's got like
Um,
anti-static strips too if you look really close.
yeah. Um, so what's found out in this project is that the electrical activity in this region will actually make people um,
Superhuman.
sort of. It helps them be more intellectually capable for the duration that they're in the essentially kind of in the ball lightning almost in the like space that this sort of takes up. And when they are like this, they are capable of going through so many potential scenarios and weighing out the probabilities of them that they're practically prophetic. So we now have our own oracle.
What?
Meanwhile, someone has been trying to spy on an oracle. I like this plan here. So some of the youngest, not the very youngest, but younger individuals have been trying to study from sinkholes around the camp, and a couple of them have even snuck out into the camp itself and tried to listen in the middle of the night. They've begun to understand these people's language, and they now listen to the them speaking of the narrowing window for survival. And they're trying to bring as many of the smartest people they can to be in this region, so that they can figure out how to survive. But the spies don't understand all these charts and stuff that are going on. And on the way out, one time, one of them is captured. Michelangelo is captured.
Not Michelangelo.
Oh man, why Michelangelo?
What about the other? What about the other three Ninja Turtles?
They apparently got
I
away.
hate you all. So he's now in jail. The others have been escaped, and a missive comes out. They're ready to talk.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
It was your action still, right?
Mine?
Yeah, I think it was
It
still your
was my
action,
action.
right?
And I just have to keep going right on that train of thought. So we're going to make a discovery. No, we're going to have a discussion. The agreement has been made that we will meet on the bridge between our camps. That under no circumstances should either side cross the halfway mark of the bridge, and to do so is considered a declaration of war. How do we approach this conversation?
Is that my call?
Well, we received information that these people, and now have a way of understanding them to be able to communicate with them, but we've received information that these people are talking about some sort of a closing window. It might be prudent to find out what that is and determine if that is also something that will affect us.
We can't. The safety of our youth is the most important thing. If they aren't willing to give Michelangelo back, then the words mean nothing, and we should prepare for the worst.
I think my statement will be just this image of a big burly man grabbing one of the few weapons that has successfully been manufactured, taking it, looking back at the people, and walking toward the bridge. And that is my turn.
I drew Michelangelo in jail.
Oh, I love it.
Oh my god, that's great.
That's awesome. Okay. A natural disaster strikes the area. What is it?
The window has closed.
Choose one. You focus on getting everyone to safety, remove an abundance, and a project fails. You focus on protecting your supplies, and hard work at any cost. Several people die as a result. Our only real abundance are these animals, you guys.
And lumber.
No, lumber's not listed as an abundance.
Well, it should be. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is an abundance. We finished that project.
Um,
Move an abundance and a project fails. Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna do that actually. We focused on getting everyone to safety. As a result, our animals, um, okay, so wait, this storm was a torrential downpour lightning storm of like fury that just kind of was something nobody was ready for. And we all were busy trying to get into the holes, into the to the um, to the little holes, and also to block them off so that they don't flood, but to be underground so that we don't get struck by lightning. But the animals couldn't join us, so the animals all got like electrocuted to death. And um, the when we came back up, the iron had been struck so many times and it was so twisted and corroded as a result that it was no longer usable for weapon making.
No,
You keep
not
trying to do that, it
again.
keeps not working.
Nobody wants your warmongery. Okay, so that's what happened.
Okay.
There are no longer any projects to count down, so I'm gonna just go straight into my action, which is um we discover something new. While we were in these holes, taking refuge from the storm, um, we realized that these holes are being currently made in real time by a set of underground animals that sort of burrow around and dig around. And in our brief encounter with them, they seemed they seemed pretty vicious, but they're small enough because they're only half human sized, like child sized, compared to all of our other major fauna. Um, they're small enough that we were able to kind of keep them at bay, but they've got a scent for us now, and it's become a problem that in the early mornings, these things are outside, and they they will attempt to kind of trapdoor spider style leap out at people as they go past and drag them under. And so the tunnels don't seem to be safe anymore to move around in. I'm gonna draw a spider because I don't know what else to make them. So they're burrowing spidery creatures, and that is my discovery.
We're gonna do the thing. Do we have any projects?
We don't. The last one got killed by the storm.
If there are no projects underway, restlessness creates animosity, and animosity leads to violence. Who gets hurt?
Oh man.
Uh, so the one good news in this whole thing from the warmonger's point of view is that, hey, look, all of this shit got flattened too.
Oh man.
So some of their kids and some of the kids from our community, have been wandering farther afield, trying to pick up the pieces from that storm, and trying to salvage, bits of detritus, and a fight over these bits of detritus have caused a fight to break out. There's like a skirmish on the far side of the railroad tracks. I think near this geyser even.
Nice.
I will. Let's see here. Um, I'd like to create a project which is to uh, dig back into that fallout shelter, to reinforce and rebuild that fallout shelter that we moved all of our food out of. Because it's clear that we're going to need it,
Okay.
and that's going to be a 4 week thing. And I think that it's not just our people who are working on it now.
Oh, really? Have we made friends?
After the fighting?
I think there's a recognition as we're creating this that there's no way we're going to finish it in 4 weeks by ourselves. We need their help and their manpower and some of the stuff and some of the materials. Some of the fresh materials that they brought in from outside the storm. As much as they need our permission and the location.
Okay. That is
Okay.
Insight's turn, I think.
I believe it is. The parish arrives. Who are they? Why have they chosen your community and for what? Or a small gang of marauders is making its way through the local terrain. How many are there and what weapons do they carry? Oh, man. So a small gang of marauders is making their way through the local terrain. There's about 4 of them, and they carry ranged explosive weapons. So like guns, but they're not guns, but they're like guns.
They're like grenade launching guns.
Yeah, they're a lot like that. Yeah, definitely like that. And yeah, that makes this really easy for me. So that's what's going to happen. Let's decrease our project clocks.
There's only the one right now, right?
Just the one, yeah. And I'm going to start another project because if we can't make our own weapons, we can steal them. And it's a 1-week project, and it's find a way to ambush those marauders. And this is like going to be way out here.
Nice.
We have a lot of stick figures. I don't know if I just want to borrow someone else's stick figures, but I think I might.
Do it.
Here, I'm going to reconnect to this thing since something's kind of funny here.
Okay.
Like I saw that as a 3 on the map, but when I selected it and tried to change the side, it was a 1. So I got to know what's going on here.
We see it as a 3. I see it as a 3.
Which?
His die.
Yeah, now I see it as a 1. So I don't know. I just reset it. Okay, is that Evie's go?
Yeah.
It's my turn? Okay. Card. This is the last card of the season. The community works constantly, and as a result, a project finishes early. Or a group goes out to explore the map more thoroughly and finds something that had been previously overlooked. Where did you send these people, Insight?
Where did I send who?
The people to go get the marauders?
They haven't been sent anywhere, but they're like the lower left hand. The marauders are the lower left hand corner.
But it won't that finish
Oh,
this
it's
turn
this?
anyway?
It's this thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But doesn't that finish anyway?
Yeah,
It'll finish
but
after Evie takes her first action.
They are a group that has gone out to explore the map more thoroughly to an extent, and they can find something that had been previously overlooked.
They could.
Um, so what they find is I don't want to do that. What do they find? What they find? Oh. Okay, what they find is a massive fallout shelter meant to contain a lot of people. And it's fully functional, and these marauders are currently squatting in it. But they found that it's got machinery in it. It is
That's really convenient.
Yeah, thank God.
it is this giant fallout shelter that has been constructed. It's half above ground, half below ground. It's got like
And
potable
it's labeled
water,
Vault
and
134.
it's labeled Vault 134. Okay, so that is what had been previously overlooked. Projects countdown.
So we attack the Marauders.
Mm-hmm. How's that go?
Not as well as we thought it would.
It turns out they have guns.
Turns who would have thought? So we managed to steal a few weapons from one guy we found just wandering off stupidly by himself. But as soon as his friends showed up, we were massively outnumbered. So we got away with like 1 or 2 working weapons and a little bit of ammunition.
Oh man.
And we flat out killed the guy. We just straight up killed that motherfucker, and that's something we haven't done in this community before, and it's like terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for all of our warmongering, we never actually attacked anyone.
Question: what happened to his body?
His body was left there, but it is sinful that it was not brought back.
Our weird bone religion.
Can't give up now.
Okay, so that was the project. I still have an action to make as the last thing in autumn. The action I'm going to take is to hold a discussion. There has been a second fallout shelter discovered, and efforts to rebuild our own fallout shelter are underway. Our own fallout shelter may not actually be able to hold all of us conveniently, to include the other, group of people that are helping us, and may just in general be kind of shitty. But it's here and safe and easy to get to. Whereas the other one, which would be great and would house all of us, is something that would be very difficult to secure for ourselves. So which fallout shelter should we continue to pour our time and energy into as the winter falls down upon us? Which one should we focus focus our efforts on? ACAT.
It's strange that the other shelter was abandoned for people that so knew what was coming to them. Why was this one not used? That perhaps we should be more cautious and explore it more thoroughly before making such a decision.
Furthermore, we don't know where those marauders have gone, or if they've left at all. It could be dangerous.
I think that if our two communities are able to work together, we might be able to actually secure that other fallout shelter as at least a secondary option, which might be worth it.
Okay, do the thing.
All right. Yep, winter cards are on the board.
The Frost Shepherds are
Oh,
on.
fuck!
The game is over.
So before we got anything to do with our fallout shelters, the game ends.
Bum bum bum.
Okay, I had fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Um, once the game is over, it is fine to talk about what the Frost Shepherds might have been, what their arrival might have meant for the community, or any other situations that were faced throughout the year. With the game over, the limits placed on communication and discussion are lifted, so everything is up for talking.
So I think the Frost Shepherds are winter superstorms, blizzards, or something like that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be an actual like cold thing though, if we don't want it to be.
Yeah, but whatever it is, I think it was a dangerous thing that how should I put it, just overwhelming.
That's why the fallout shelters were needed.
But the other thing I think is that our antlered friends, I think they were sentient.
Hmm.
I think that was somewhere I was going to go if we had the moment, if I hadn't done that. Um, I think that there were other sentient species on this planet, and the only real way to win was to talk to them.
Mm-hmm. I halfway considered attempting to use them as the war animal that project that I made, but then
That
I
would
was
have been
like,
fun. That would have been hilarious.
they're fire, so maybe not. That would have been very interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
This community got weird, you guys.
it's fine. Just a few, just bones and stuff. I don't know what the hell was going on with the I don't know what the heck was going on with the lightning. Like I liked the thing you did with it with the probability, but we didn't get a chance to go full Dune on that.
Yeah,
Basically.
it came too late in the game. Didn't have
Yeah,
more
yeah.
turns left.
The I think the advice given is that establish the weird stuff by the end of summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
So
this
you
one didn't
can,
really get going until autumn.
yeah.
Oh,
I
one of
had
these
fun.
weird zones were areas where the electrical activity was such that it actually would have been um, semi-safe to live in. And that's why these other people moved into that weird area over there.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's enough. Well, what I ended up doing with it is that they were going there because they needed a solution to the problem, and figuring out the probabilities was it. The oracle thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. This was fun.
It was.
I'm sad that winter was so abrupt. That was unexpected.
It happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point, right?
Yeah.
Well, with that said, I am going to depart. Pleasure playing with you guys.
Indeed, and
It was
I will
fun.
harass you probably tomorrow about NPCs.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet.
I was actually somewhat busy today. Like they actually
Okay.
wanted me to work on things. It's
Whoa!
amazing.
Slow down.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I've got a lot of GM prep to do. I don't know where I'm going to fit it in, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be great.
I'm excited.
Good day.
All right.
Likewise.
See you guys.
See you later.
Bye. All right, and that was the Quiet Year game. It went really, really fun. Very different. So, I think it's something I might want to play again. We'll see. All right, I will be signing off myself now. Bye.